Yeah, everyone blow ASAP. Now go.
Heroes, gather tribute and earn my favor.
Have you no pride? Fight!
What the fuck was that?
Whoa.
Shit.
Oh shit. Gotta change that
Right.
up.
All right. And I guess we're live.
It's
Yeah.
snowing.
Hey, I like the effect.
Oh, hey.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shit
Oh,
just
he
comes
actually-
to the Nexus.
Holy shit.
Oh, the
I like
hat.
it.
He's got the hat. There we go.
Oh, he has the hat. He has the Christmas hat. The
Christmas
Santa
Son of a
hat.
bitch.
Logo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Holy crap. All right, and welcome to episode 93 of the Gankbush podcast. I'm your host, Fringe Average. For those of you listening for the first time, we are the only explicit Heroes of the Storm podcast where all other different hosts are made up of different play levels, ranging from a silver type player all the way up to a grandmaster level player. We bring you the latest hot news, discuss the latest tips and strategies so that you can become a better player. So let's go ahead and introduce our residential silver type player. That is Tower Baron, who's calling in from San Diego, California.
Ho ho ho, Fringe. It's good to be here in the Nexus. How's it feel to be dethroned by the person with the biggest beard?
It is pretty
Your
straggly.
beard is pretty minuscule from over here.
Oh.
What happened?
It is. I will say that I have been overtaken, but who has more gray hair?
You mean Draymond
Yeah.
right there?
Yeah, and
It's
you're
good, if you
younger.
ask me.
This is
Yeah,
awesome.
you're younger.
It's not just about the size. It's about, appearance, how it looks, presentation.
I think it looks pretty good.
Uh,
I can taste it. I can taste it.
yours, you look like you need some maintenance. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the more homeless award. Yeah,
I think you're still holding on to your vanity, Scott. You gotta let that go.
I think we need to buy Tower Baron some fingerless gloves and a can of beans.
That would work too.
Mhm.
Maybe a
Nice
shopping
trash can
cart.
fire.
big metal trash can and some kindling to start a fire.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and introduce our residential master level player. That is Scott, who's calling in from San Francisco, California.
Hey, I finished my placement games during the week after all the resets and got placed at Diamond 1 and worked my way up into Masters in like less than 10 games. So
Was it
that's what I've been up to.
Diamond 1 500? Or
It was Diamond 1 like 750 something.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I needed probably one more win in my placements. I went 5-5. I started off strong. Played a couple games with Trixler. That was cool. And then I went up against BBJ twice and lost to him, and that started my downfall.
Wait, how is Trixler? How good is Trixler?
I think he's like maybe mid-level master. around
Okay.
there.
All right, so he's pretty good.
Yeah, but I had the stream in the background. It's I planned on like listening to the stream and what he was talking about and kind of like going from there, but like the stream has like a 5-second delay, so like any call he made would not apply.
You know that's how I feel when I play with you, Scott. Oh, you get it?
Yeah.
Because you make calls after the fact that they've already happened.
Yep.
If I make them when they're happening, your reactions are 5 seconds late anyways.
Well, hey, you have to at least try.
Yeah.
No, you need to
Then-
move
anyway.
the needle 5 seconds more. That way it's 5 seconds
Yeah.
before the action happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when
Yeah.
I went up against BBJ, I was looking for a stream. I didn't find it until like after I stopped playing against him. I was gonna pull that up and maybe look at the draft and where they were standing and stuff.
You're gonna stream snipe him.
Yeah,
No
you're gonna
honor.
snipe him.
Yeah.
No
Bullshit.
honor.
I tried during like one of the drafts to look him up really quickly, but he doesn't have a lot of viewers, so he was kind of far down on the list.
He's new. to
He's still
stream.
new. I watch him though. Not every time, but like when he's on, I try to watch him. So
Yeah.
all right, let's go ahead and introduce.
Wait,
Yes.
Question for Stout though. What would you do if like Tritzler was commentating on the video and said, "Man, this Stout guy's not aggro enough. He's played way too passive."
I
would
was
you
a
say?
healer. I was running around saving his ass. So I got a couple thank yous from him.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Ah.
All right, let's go ahead and introduce our plat player. That is Old Backpack, who's calling in from San Francisco as well.
Yeah, did be back in America and the Nexus, where we have Christmas.
Don't we have Christmas everywhere?
Not
we
as-
gotta ask Hero, see if he has Christmas in
Oh, yeah.
Canada. You know, it's
Hey.
a little backwards over there. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're
Well, let's-
under the Queen's rules, so they probably say Happy Christmas instead of Merry Christmas.
Ooh.
Oh, shots fired.
All right, and lastly, let's introduce our Grandmaster level player. That is Bacon, who has to learn how to swear.
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll
I
get
read
to
that
that. We'll
post
get to
too.
that in a minute, but
Right.
it's good to be in the Nexus, I guess. I waited a week after my first placements where I got 6-4, and then I placed Masters 1000. You know, with that whole debacle, I waited a week, and then yesterday I played 8-2 all my placements, and then went the same Masters 1000. The second time around, it was a lot more smooth, and there weren't a lot of like question marks, like a random player banning over a Grandmaster 8 from last season, so that wasn't happening, and everyone in my games were like at least Diamond 1 to like mid to high Master. So I guess like anecdotally, just from my experience, the system is fixed a little bit. So yeah, every game I won, I felt like I contributed, except for the first game where I played Arthas, and maybe I played the world's worst Arthas. But other than that, I played like the other 9 games, 8 as support, 1 as thrall, and then went 8-2. So felt pretty nice.
All right. Okay.
Alright.
So let's move on to the housekeeping. So if you listen to us on iTunes or Stitcher, please subscribe to the show as well as rate and review us. Also, if you have any friends who listen to podcasts and play HOTS, please spread the word. Also, we have a Discord channel. We also have a HOTS channel in BNet, and the name of the chat is one word, win time. Also, if you have any emails, please email us at podcast@gankbushsquad.com. We have a Patreon. If you go to Patreon, you can help contribute to the show. The money goes towards paying for the hosting of the podcast, as well as paying for content for other content creators, such as Calm Before the Storm, and or paying for swag for every BlizzCon. Also, we have a YouTube channel. Go there. We post snippets of the show, as well as doing some replays as well. If you go to gankbushsquad.com, you can find a list or find links to all of the aforementioned content hubs that we have. So in the past week, Myths of the Nexus #4 got released, and it looked like it did pretty well in terms of a amount of viewers it got.
Are you throwing it to me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cue the
All
guy
right.
who made the
Podcasting.
video.
Episode 93. Okay. Yeah, it seemed pretty well. There was a lot of positive reception. It seemed like I don't get much hate. Like I feel really lucky that the community has kind of embraced this series, and I hope to keep doing it now that Christmas is over. I hope to do like two a month. So keep that going while I'm streaming, and
Wait,
doing
why do
all
you think
that.
you would have got hate? Why do you think you would have got hate though?
Like every time someone posts like create original content, there's a lot of uh criticism, but the only thing I've gotten criticism wise was this music sucks, which is I can live with that.
Sounds
And
very
then
Asian to
The
me.
taste sucks.
yeah, but and the other thing is like, hey, you should have tried this with the myth, and it's like, damn, I should have known about that when creating the video. But other than that, it's been a good ride. The Carbots animations guy has been watching, which is pretty
Oh.
awesome. He left some comments on the videos, so it's like, god damn, someone actually well known in the community is participating in my dumbass little video. So that was really heartwarming.
But aren't you just as excited about Tower Baron watching the videos as that guy?
No, he,
Why not?
the Carbot guy is like at least 8 Tower Barons.
Well, that's not that bad. I thought you were saying like
That's
100.
not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Tower
Yeah.
Baron. He's a 1/8 Carbot.
It's Carbot. That's pretty good.
Yeah. No,
So,
he's like a guy I've been watching his videos from like what 7 years ago or something. So it's kind of cool.
So Bacon, where can they find the video?
Search for it in YouTube or go to the Bacon Huts YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys saw it,
Search
right? I
for
thought the,
myths in the Nexus.
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
There you go. All right. Yes,
the
Tower Baron.
Cassia one I thought was the most interesting about when it would proc. I guess it depends on whether the ability that affects it moves her feet. Is that right? That's what it looks like.
That's
We're
what I
trying to
think
make-
it is.
Yeah, if we're trying to make inferences based on that, it's just kind of weird.
There's like different stances that a player, like a hero, takes, I think, based on the type of push.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so like I hope they fix that inconsistency because there are MOBA type heroes in the game that we haven't seen with like bleed effects. And Matt, Fringe, what bleed effects are if you move, you take damage. So like the counterplay is you just stand still. So like there are those kinds of heroes in like League of Legends and Dota. And we have yet to see that in heroes, and I hope they kind of fix that before a bleed type hero comes into the game.
Interesting.
I feel like that the Blizzard team has more to worry about with the actual game right now in the near future. And
Well-
I mean, I guess, yeah, but I understand what you're saying. And I totally agree.
Yeah. Like when new heroes like Hanzo, for instance, and Lucio, they're using completely new mechanics, and it ends up breaking a lot of other heroes because they didn't have the foresight, that they were going to do this. So, the coding's all busted or whatever. So
Okay.
they should.
All right. So another piece of news is that we actually have a team now for Chair League. So right now there are 8 people, including myself, that are interested in playing. So I think if we actually get enough players, we can actually have 2 teams. It could be like to be like a little bit to be a little nostalgic. It could be like an MVP Black and MVP Miracle.
Oh,
So we could have
GBS Black, GBS Miracle.
Mm-hmm.
there you go. That's very, very original right there, Bacon. But well, maybe like what we'll do is like we'll have one team be actually this is what we could do. We could do a 5v5, and then we could have the winner of we'll do like a best of 3. We'll stream it, and we'll have Hero Physio commentate on it, and we'll do like a best of 3, and whoever wins gets to have the Gankbush squad logo, and the other team has to be called Take the Lose. So there you go. So we get
Oh,
yeah, I
Okay.
like that. So
Interesting.
if we get 2 or 3 more, then we can definitely do that, and we can have a team that wins gets the name and the logo, and the other one has to take the lose with no logo.
I don't know. That sounds like kind of a awesome team name, though. I'd
Take the
want to be
Lose.
called Take the Lose.
What?
Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah,
like an awful
you might
name.
have people throwing on purpose.
What?
Yeah,
What's
like
it called?
that to face somebody and they're called take the lose. It's just like you're going down, dude. Just take the lose.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. Oh yeah, it could be not
Yeah.
we're
Oh, you're
taking the
putting
lose,
it
you're
on the
taking the
other
lose.
team. Okay.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
taking-
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
What if you lose though? Then it sounds even worse.
No, how would you just
Well,
call it the
then
other
that's
team?
your team name. You took the lose.
Oh, okay. You're
It
saying it's
works
all.
both ways.
Huh.
And then if you're GBS Black, the chubbiest guy, his nickname is Rich.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Rich lost weight. You can't say that. Rich lost weight.
Yeah, I think what is it? Sake, the team leader? Yeah, he's bigger.
He's kind of
recently.
chunky though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, Rich got into shape. I give him credit. He did something and he lost weight. So
Yeah.
okay. So we'll think of a name because we have to have a name for like that's not good.
Take the lose. You're done. You got it. We're talking about it. It's perfect.
But that's a positive name though. I want a name
It
that's
could be-
bad.
Team Tower Baron.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a like that. Yeah,
Nobody
so,
wants that team name.
Yeah,
I
so
like
like
that team name.
so-
No,
Losing
team one
team will be
Tower
fun.
Baron, the other one Baron Tower.
Yeah. Exactly. You're
No,
the
no, no.
Smurf of the
oh,
yeah.
the losing team will be the Tower Barons.
That'd be awesome,
no.
actually. I have like an entourage.
No. That you do not want to be called Tower Baron. But all right, let's so there we go. So if you're interested, please email us at podcast@gankbushsquad.com. I think it'd be really cool if we actually had. I didn't even think we would get 5 for a full team, but now we have 8. So again, if you doesn't matter what your play level is, we'll figure out a way to get you on a team. If you want to play with us, maybe I'll do a thing where like I'll just play on both teams. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. But anyway, also we have this upcoming Friday or tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to be doing the Friday Feed Fest where you play with us, and maybe we'll get like a 5v5 custom game going on. So if you want to play with us, I know for a fact me, Old Backpack, and Tower Baron will be available. So if you want to play the Friday Feed Fest, that's tomorrow night. And the most important thing is that last night I sent a post on Reddit asking the community to help us out and promote the show. Just that's it, promoting the show, and it actually kind of blew up today on Reddit. I woke up this morning and it was like number 5 on the front page, and yeah, and the feedback that we got for the most part has been really, really positive and really cool. And thank you to everyone who took time out of their day, except Scott, who took time and gave us an upvote and gave us a comment. And that was really, really cool. I actually didn't think it was going to do that. I thought that maybe we get like 20 people to upvote it. But I very much appreciate it. And we all appreciate it. And
Yeah.
it was really cool. And Old Backpack wanted to call out one specific Reddit comment.
Yes, this is from Aardvark, and here's his comment that he gave about half an hour ago. Starting from this, I gave this a listen. It's good. I'll definitely listen a few more times. I like the drafting analysis, the replay analysis, and I really like the part where he talked about heroes to learn how to rank up. Your Asian guy, I'm assuming he's Asian. He sounds super Asian. Needs to learn to curse better. It's really my only negative comment. So Bacon, learn to swear.
Prove him wrong. It's just
Yeah,
cursing.
Game
What do
up.
you got?
Fuck are you, Dolphin?
The dolphin?
Yeah.
What was
That's
that?
from South Park. That's how the
Yeah.
Japanese swear.
Yeah.
But
Alright.
I don't understand. Like, what do you mean curse better? Be more eloquent? That's not gonna happen.
No, like your curses
the-
are just they're lame.
The
I
most
guess.
important part, though, is that they didn't assume that I was the Asian one, Tower Baron. So in your
Oh,
face,
that is true.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
in
you're
your
right.
face. But again, thank you, Aardvark, for that specific comment. But also, thank you to everyone. I saw some win timers in there leaving comments and stuff like that. I don't want to call out anyone specifically because I'll leave someone out. But thank you very much to everyone who took time out of their day to.
Wait.
Help
I
us
have a
out.
comment. To all the Tower Baron trash talk on that thread. Fuck you guys. Fuck you all.
That's how you curse, Bacon.
Fuck y'all.
What did they say? That was so bad.
It was something about what about that one guy who's in silver? Like, what happens if he's not in silver anymore? How are you gonna, publicize the show as having all levels? And then one guy, I think it was Seal, said that's not going to happen. Don't worry about it, or something
I
like
said
that.
that. I said that.
Well,
I
I
know
think
Seal
someone
too.
else commented too. Well, screw you too. You go fuck yourself.
Oh, this is a first from Tower Baron. I like it, huh?
Yeah, it's,
I guess.
Standing up.
well, I mean,
Tower Baron's got to do his placement matches again and see where he ends up.
I tried that 1 and 2 so far, but it's been like bullshit. We'll talk about the draft analysis. It's for my first Hero League game. We'll see how it hinged on one pick, one final pick.
Did you get the pick?
What?
Did you get the pick?
I'll explain it when we get to it, but I didn't have the pick. No.
I don't want this to be a situation where you only post like the good videos that you do.
No,
I want to see the bad videos too.
All
no,
right,
this
well,
isn't a replay. This is a draft analysis. So
Okay, all right. Also, again,
That's from the South Park.
maybe he's
episode.
confused that he thinks it's him, like the actual thing we play, and not actually Bacon. No.
maybe.
Yeah.
And lastly, again,
Nice.
in about 2 weeks, actually, maybe in about 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks, I'll be doing my placements on Twitch. So just FYI, I think I'll know more by next week or the following week. But when I'll start that, but yeah, yes,
Give me a solid date. That way I can have some things ready.
okay. I don't know yet. It's I don't know.
That's
I'll know more.
Thursday, you said last
I'll
time.
know more by next week. How about that?
Okay.
All right. All right. So actually, we have a good show for you. We're going to discuss the latest patch that came out yesterday, and also we're going to do like a little bit of our tier rankings, just very briefly, and then we're going to discuss the placement hiatus or whatever the fuck you want to call it, the screw up they did.
The limbo. the
Clusterfuck.
There we go.
Clusterfuck.
Clusterfuck. That's how you swear, Bacon. You hear that?
And then we're going to talk about another Reddit post where a player that was in Masters complained about professional players. And then we're going to do a draft analysis segment, and then we're going to I'm going to mention one movie briefly, and then we'll call it a show. All right, so the patch came out, and actually, first of all, like there's a new hero that got announced today. That is Blaze, the
Blaze?
veteran
Yep.
firebat.
Yeah, let's go do it.
Okay.
All right, go.
Go what?
What
do you want to
Yeah.
Are we
Talk-
commentating or are
yeah,
we
yeah.
waiting
Let's
for
comment
the,
on it.
No, no.
This
all
is
right,
like
so-
Isn't
I was
this
just
the
loading.
first StarCraft hero? First
Wasn't
StarCraft
Jada
hero
way
in a
hotter
while.
than that? Like,
Yeah.
Guess watch out for that, Pat. But anyway, it's
yeah.
so let's go to Scott. Let's what do you think about this announcement, Scott?
I was expecting it. They had that leaked hero list that people have talked about, months ago, and Firebat was I think Firebat was listed to come out before Hanzo and maybe like Alex Straza. The Firebat was listed to come out maybe 2 or 3 heroes earlier. So I was wondering if maybe that was one that they, from the leaked list, that they got wrong, or they just put it off, because that list had like an order in which they were supposed to come out. So maybe Blizzard just mixed it up, but I'm not surprised by this one.
Okay. Are you guys excited about? I don't know. I don't know who this is, but are you guys excited about this?
I'm really excited because I really like the AoE bruiser types. It looks similar to Ragnaros. I just don't know if he's gonna be a bruiser or if he's like tankish or he's gonna be like an assassin.
He's a bruiser warrior.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Firebats in game have like an AoE, and they're not
Auto attack.
really melee. They're usually they're very short range, but they do have
Yeah.
like a range attack. So I'm curious whether it's going to be melee or if it's going to be ranged. It might be something like
Diva
like
range, right?
like shorter than Diva's range, but kind of like an AoE line cone attack or something similar to Diva. You know,
Oh, that's
who
gonna
knows?
be cool. I figure he's gonna play a lot like Leoric then, which is one of my favorite characters recently. So he's gonna have like a lot of wave clear and a lot of sustain as a bruiser. So that's gonna be cool. Looking forward to it. And I don't think we have a StarCraft hero in a while, not since what Probius or something, right?
Yeah, that's the last one.
That was a
Probably.
long ass time ago.
Well, there's
So,
Stukov too.
Yeah.
oh, Stukov,
Stewie.
yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
about him.
Stukov came out during like the summer, I think.
But it's the first StarCraft warrior in a long time, and StarCraft only has non-primary tank warriors. They have Artanis and Dahaka. Like that's all we got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So finally, another StarCraft warrior.
But there aren't that many zone control warriors in the game right now. You could argue like Diablo APOC and that's it, and maybe like a mosh pit, but you don't really want to zone with a mosh pit. So
Well,
like
there's
a
Zarya.
tank that explosion zone, yeah, that too. But it seems like he's gonna be zoning with basic abilities and just his base kit. So
Mhm.
that'll be interesting.
Yep. Okay, so let's move on. So the patch came out the other day, and I wanted to first talk about. So 2 episodes ago, we talked about how Hanzo. Wow. Okay, that was. All right, so we talked about how Hanzo was kind of bad, but now I think he's kind of good. So let's go to Bacon on Hanzo. What do you think?
Time to eat
Yeah.
those words.
So, before I say my 2 cents about him, part of growing as a player, right, is admitting when you've made mistakes. And now that I've said that, Hanzo's pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
we
bear
were-
in mind when we said that he's gotten a 10% damage buff all around since then. So he has been buffed since we
Yes.
said he was garbage.
Yeah, I mean, and we've only tried him in like AI mode because he was on the PTR, and you don't want to wait an hour to get in queue for a quick match game that's gonna last 10 minutes. So we didn't have a really good take on him. But now that he's been out, I've played like 20 games with him so far. He is so awesome. Feels great. He's one of the ones that like had 1 or 2 games with him, it just clicked.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
kind of a combination of Chromie and Raynor, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He plays stylistically a little bit different from how he does in Overwatch, but that's okay because he's still kick ass in Heroes.
But I mean, what were your comments 2 weeks ago when you thought he was weaker? I thought we all kind of agreed his range on his Q was kind of crappy, but that doesn't hinder him as long as you hit your Qs.
His Qs aren't his primary source of damage. In my opinion, it's his W.
It's the scatter,
If you go
the scatter arrow.
Yeah, Redemption, which is the auto attack speed at level 1, you complete that. It's not really hard
Yeah.
to complete. And then you get the scatter arrow at 4 and 7. So at level 7, each auto attack reduces the cooldown by 4 seconds. So every 2 auto attacks, you can W. And if you start stepping correctly, his auto attacks do a lot of damage. His auto attack range is actually 7.5, which is 1 further than Raynor.
Huh.
Oh,
And
wow.
Raynor's trait is long auto attack range
Yeah.
at
pretty
6.5
much, yeah.
or something. Yeah, so he's outranges Raynor by 1. So it is nuts. He has a lot of
It's kind of
wombo
cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. No, I think it's kind of cool that they just a 10% buff, and that's all he really needed. Like that, the kit was good. It's just that the numbers were off.
My only complaint right now is his trait. It's still wonky to use. There's a lot of weird rules, and it works fine if it's from one wall directly over another wall, but there's instances where like you can use a corner of terrain to jump over it, and that's inconsistent when trying to use it. So like there are times where it was like, oh, I can jump over here and survive, and I'm trying to like press D and jump over. He's not jumping, and then I get popped. So yeah.
So doesn't
So-
the Dragon Strike still feel very, very wonky? The delay is way too long.
No, we were just talking about Blaze, the zone control guy. I'm pretty sure you have to use Dragon Strike as zone control because
Not damage.
yeah, and like tight little hallways where if you force a fight, you can get a lot of value out of it. Things like that. Or if, much like Sundering, you can split a team. You can kind of do that if you time it right.
I thought he's only pretty good on certain maps, though, right? If we're talking about Scatter Arrow, I think didn't we always kind of say that Scatter Arrow would be kind of, I guess, map dependent, and then like the higher skill cap type of talents to learn?
Yes and no. The drawback of Scatter Arrow is sometimes now they have the outline of all the terrain, and it's a little bit inconsistent when especially if it hits corners. Like it's going one direction, and then if you hit that corner and you move like one pixel over it, then it goes another completely different direction, and that's hard to get used to. But once you get that, there are not many maps where he's completely useless because there's usually walls everywhere. And his best map is Battlefield of Eternity by far.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, that's where I see him get bans. I thought he'd be good at Tomb of the Spider Queen, but not as
He's
much.
okay.
Huh?
So he fits really well in 2-tank comps, right? Primarily.
I guess.
I mean, he's sustained damage, right? I think one game, when Bacon was playing with me, he had a lot of like really high sustained damage, but we got no kills, right? So he needs someone else to get that final few shots off, I think.
So okay, so who does he combo really well with, like Greymane?
I think so.
Something like that.
Don't you want someone like Genji? Someone's actually a very good finisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need somebody to close because he's not getting like super close to the enemy team. He mainly wants to poke from afar.
Yeah.
His
So
range
it's
is
not-
the backline very well.
If you stutter step well, he's not awful at closing, but if you have someone to do that job for you, then you're just so much better for it.
Okay, so when should he be picked in Hero League? Like towards the end of drafts? He shouldn't be like first or second picked, right?
No, why not?
I'm just asking.
I don't know. Sustained damage, I think most of the time is pick first, right? Because then you can kind of adapt your play based off that. Like, what are the other
question's
sustained damages? Like Gul'dan,
Like
Vala.
Vala. Like, do you want Vala or do you want Hanzo? It's really right. It's one more range.
Actually,
yeah.
if you're playing on Battlefield of Eternity, do you want Hanzo or do you want Vala?
Either or, in my opinion.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
if someone first
dethroned.
picks, if you're in Team League or Hero League, if someone first picks Vala, should you just first pick Hanzo on the other side?
You could.
Okay.
I think
All right.
Hanzo does more DPS than Vala on the Immortal.
Okay.
Much
What
more,
if,
I would even say double damage, double her DPS.
Oh,
What
shit, I
about
gotta
a team
try
comp
that.
with both Hanzo and Vala? Is that good?
And Greymane, why not? Get all three in there.
Just get everyone with Tyrande.
Yeah, with Tyrande and Sylvanas with Q.
I mean, it'll be a little awkward, but it could work.
All right. Okay. So I guess again we were wrong, but again we were operating with different numbers at the time. But
I mean, let's just be honest. Bacon was the most wrong.
Yeah, Bacon's wrong.
He was
I
the
think
most
to be
wrong.
honest, Scott was the most wrong.
I
most
said he
quiet,
felt
though.
terrible too.
Yeah. So
we all rode the same train, guys.
yeah.
I thought he was maybe had potential. You guys wrote him off completely.
I completely
Well,
wrote off
we said
his potential.
he felt ineffective, and he got a 10% damage buff. So he was obviously better than we thought initially, but he was still weak.
Yeah.
10% more damage is the difference between pressuring the enemy team and allowing somebody on your team to close in for a kill or not. Like, that's pretty significant.
It's true. And
Okay.
then they just like buffed his Dragon Strike, right, to do a little bit more
right
damage.
now.
And
Mhm.
I mean, it's even more reason to pick him. Just practice your W and stutter stepping. That's literally half his playstyle. If you can hit Redemption at level 1 quickly, that means at level 7, when you get Never Outmatched, the one that reduces the Scatter Arrow cooldown, you're good to go from there. And then at level 16, if you go Giant Slayer, which is every basic attack and Scatter Arrow, reduces, does a bonus 1.25 maximum health. So you're, chunking tanks for like 25% of their health every like 2 seconds if you can hit it.
All right. Okay. I think based on that, is that Hanzo's kind of bad at the, silver and bronze and possibly the gold levels then. Right?
He's
No,
picked
like,
occasionally,
just-
but he's not that impactful, I think.
Yeah. So I think he's another high skill cap character, right? So
But
if you're
he's one of those high skill capped characters where if you actually get proficient, like let's say you're a silver player, but you play a low plat level Hanzo, then you're gonna climb the hell out of Hero League with that kind of hero. But let's say
okay.
other heroes like Medivh, it's really hard to do that because he doesn't really fit in many team comps, and you need a lot more coordination to get benefit out of Medivh, even if you play him at a higher level than you would. So he's one of those carry heroes. Like
Okay.
what else? What's good
Vala.
at that level?
Like
Vala,
Zul'jin,
Tango.
Greymane.
Vala, Zul'jin, Greymane, yeah.
Okay. All right. So Nova is doing really well. She has the highest win rate. Well, obviously it changed with the patch that came out yesterday, but prior to the patch, she had the highest win rate of any character, even at the highest levels. But she got nerfed though in this patch a little bit. But
Yeah, fuck Nova.
wow, what's wrong with Tower Baron? Did you not get sex like last night or something? God, jeez.
Who can
But,
resist this?
Oh, God. So they nerfed her health and they increased or reduced her damage on her Q, and the decoy at level 16 does less damage too. But why is Nova so good right now?
Because she does a lot more
Nova.
damage, and then she could bust out her decoy a lot easier. It's linked to her trait.
Her level, her number 1 ability, or what's it called, Ghost Protocol, is super strong. It makes her very hard to kill, especially if you have people on the enemy team there to stop you from pursuing a Nova who uses it. She's hard to kill because you can't tell when she uses it right away because she leaves a clone on top of where she goes protocols and she's running away. So unless you got somebody to lock her down and have her unable to cast that, she's not as squishy as she used to be.
But
Yep.
why is I would think that if at the diamond and master level that Nova wouldn't have a huge amount of success.
Yeah, that I can't explain. Someone else to fill me in on that.
Well, you're hitting your snipes more. Did I freeze?
No.
You're fine.
No, you're good.
Sorry.
Oh,
back.
okay.
I was loading. You're fine. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, you're hitting your snipes more, so you have better snipe master. And so you're doing more damage that way than you would at a lower level. And the Ghost Protocol gives you additional survivability.
Okay, so is Nova? Obviously, she got nerfed, right? She got nerfed, but is she first ban worthy now on bigger maps like, Dragonshire or Garden of Terror, Infernal Shrines?
No. She's
I wouldn't
better,
say
but
she's
there's other
bad.
stealth heroes better than her, in my opinion.
Well,
I mean, okay.
I guess higher level, yes, but something about the range stealth is that it's hard for teams to coordinate. Golden lower, I believe, so she gets a lot of easy kills. and it's hard to take her down, to focus on her and stuff like that because of the map awareness. It's been kind of annoying to play the matches because no, there's no Novas that are going to play quick match. They're all going to be an unranked draft because once they enter quick match, they're going to get like a BS game against other, games with no tanks and stuff like that. They're all going to be the unranked draft, and that's been kind of crappy. Past week, I'll be honest, hasn't been that fun. Playing almost every other game with the Nova.
I think if you're in gold or lower, if you're in Hero League anyway, she's a must ban for the most part.
Yeah, you know what? I could tell she was good off the bat because when someone picked Nova like second pick, no one was going, "Hey, what the fuck?" Now everyone's just like, "Okay, it's Nova." So
yeah, the flaming.
That was kind of where I'm like, "Oh shit, it's like Nova really good now." Not getting flamed.
Yeah, I think that in terms of being a pain in the ass, like she's the biggest pain in the ass right now.
Yeah.
I think with the Gary or Garrosh changes, that she has reclaimed the mantle as the most annoying pain in the ass character in the game.
Yeah. And then it's sort of like all these players, they wanted to play Nova, but they couldn't because she was so bad. But then they hear about her getting buffs, and everyone just wants to try her out. So all the games are kind of flooded with her. So.
Yeah. And AP Sundown in chat says, I've had friends that ended up top 20 Grandmaster as Nova mains before these changes. She's a pain in the ass. So, yeah, dude, we totally agree. It fucking sucks. But she got nerfed. I think she'll get nerfed again, probably in a week or two. But
Yep.
But speaking about stealth, Valera. I think Scott thinks Valera is the best stealth character, but her win rate is really low. But why do you think that Valera is now the best stealth character in the game?
2.75 seconds of silence.
Yeah.
You can't just free pick her, but yes, that's silence. She's a hard counter to certain hard carries. If you're just waiting for the enemy Genji to dive in and then you silence him, that Genji's dead. Like, what else can that Genji do? His main mode of reflecting damage is his W. He can't use W. He can't jump, so he's just a squishy ass Japanese person in the middle of your back line, you know? Phrasing, excuse me, but
Is that the same for Tracer?
Tracer, yes,
Yeah.
of course. You can't
Yeah,
recall when you're
Yeah.
silence for 2.75 seconds. Anybody can kill her in that amount of time.
And she does a good amount of damage to squishies too. So if you have anybody near you to help attack the person you're targeting, they're going down, 90% of the time.
I mean, you're already playing. If you're playing a stealth well, you're already flanking well. Now that if you don't move, then you go completely invisible, and then you get the long range for your Valera teleport to silence whoever you want to. I mean, it's just so good.
Yeah.
So-
with the ambush, you don't necessarily see her coming with the increased range.
What? So if you're playing Hero League and someone goes Nova or Valera, how important is it to get Malfurion or Tassadar? If at all.
Malfurion's pretty important right now.
You mean the scouting drone?
Well, that in the Twilight Dream and stuff like that too.
No, the Moonfire level 1.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, Moonfire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reveal. Yeah.
But you have other people who have abilities that could hit and take people out of stealth too. I don't think that those are necessarily that important. As long as you have somebody on your team that can bring them out of stealth, I think you're okay. Preferably 2 or 3 people who could do that.
Lucy, out of the supports that I've played in the past, 20 games in my placements, Malfurion with the level 1 W reveal, Moonfire reveal, and then Lucio in general. He's good.
Why Lucio?
He can roll right and chase if you're trying to run away. His boop is on a little cooldown. If you go the one where it reduces your boop by 3 seconds if you're wall riding when using it. So if you're wall riding, chasing, you boop him out of stealth, and you can keep chasing him, and then he has like a really slow auto attack that travels slowly as well. So if he uses it and tries to get away, that slow auto attack could still be following him and knock him out of stealth. So yeah.
So where does Zeratul fit in? Because I think last episode we were talking about how Zeratul was the one that was OP. Because I've been playing a lot of Zeratul. I think he's stronger.
Very strong.
Yep.
But you think you say he's not as strong as Valera though?
Well, Valera's silence can be crippling to your team. Yeah. I'd say Zeratul is maybe stronger, but it's kind of like Valera's kind of like Garrosh, and that, pre his nerf, you just don't want to play against her.
I mean, Zeratul's now one of those heroes. You just have to. Your entire team has to play around the Zeratul, and once you expect like what he's gonna do. Okay, so there's a Lucio, 2 tanks, and like a squishy, like a Vala in your team. What's gonna happen? He's gonna try to go for the Vala every time. And if you, as the Lucio player, are looking out for it, you hold your amp it ups or your shield barrier or sound barrier for those moments where you can see him jump in. Then you can outplay him. And outside of this,
it's kind of hard now with some of the builds people are going now. Like people are getting like wormhole with like a 5-second blink with the new ultimate. So he's putting out a ton of damage and able to hop in and out of combat, really quickly. He can be very dangerous.
Yes, but his damage is in cycles, and if you expect those cycles and heal or crowd control around them, he's a lot less effective. That's what I mean. Like, he's gonna jump in and do his burst cycle, and then that's around the same-ish time as how much a shield barrier would last for, or sound barrier, right?
Yeah.
And like, even if it's not, then even if it cuts half the damage out of Zeratul's combo, that's pretty much getting that Zeratul's target out of he's not in danger of dying. So I feel it's fair because you're now able to see when the shadow when they're moving. There's a lot of counterplay around it, but if you're treating him like not looking at the minimap, not paying attention to your win condition or their win condition, it's just same old toxic playstyle.
Yep.
Okay. So anything else about stealth heroes in general?
Yeah.
All right,
Scott,
let's move on.
How often have you guys all the heroes now, they go completely invisible if they're standing still? How often has that played into your games?
It plays. It happens a couple times each game because you have somebody, a Valera or like a Zeratul, who will stand there, in like a bush or something, right next to you during the laning phase, and they'll wait for you to rotate up, and you walk right up to them and they just unload on you.
Yeah.
They'll stand just out of your sight range, so you cannot see them stealth, and they'll just wait, and you literally walk into an ambush.
Is that like a shitty play style to play against?
Well, no. If you can see on the mini map where the Zeratul is, if he's not there, then he's probably right next to you, or he's going to be there when he knows you're going to rotate up. And like Bacon says, Zeratul is going to go for either the low health target or the squishy target. So, I mean, if you're low health and you're going to move between lanes and you can't see him on the mini map, he's probably like looking at you, right? So,
well, I've had a Hurley game that really stuck out to me. The enemy team went Valera, and the solo laner on the team said, "Hey guys, if you don't see Valera on the minimap, please ping that for me." And now there's a new ping is where if you click on, let's say, the Valera portrait and she's not in your minimap vision, then it's gonna do Valera is missing.
I didn't know about
that's
that.
nice.
Yeah. So if you ping Valera, she's not on the minimap, you can't see her, Valera's missing. And then the solo laner in that game said, if you don't see Valera, please do that ping for me. And the team, to their credit, on my side, the 4-man was really diligent about doing that. And the top lane never got ganked.
Huh.
And it ended up being like a 8-minute game because we were able to snowball.
Dang.
Okay. All right, so let's move on. So Garrosh, they changed his Q. They changed his Q, and they also increased his health. But the biggest thing is obviously the Q. It now knocks enemy heroes in the air, stunning them for 0.75 seconds and slowing them for 30% for 2 seconds. But so obviously this is a nerf to Garrosh. But his win rate before this nerf was like 50%. So now, is he even viable? Like, is he even worth getting now? Like, as a last pick in Team League or Hero League?
Old backpack.
So his combo is still there. It's, now there's counterplay to it. Now you have to land the Q, and then while they're stunned and slowed, that duration gives you time to walk up to them and toss them. So now it's more Diablo-like of QE, instead of like he has to have some sort of skin in the game in order to get the combo. It's not as easy as you stand there, you whiff, it's fine. It's you stand there, you hit it, you walk up, then you go for the toss. It's much, much harder. And now, like, if you stun a squishy, the tank can then walk next to the Garrosh, thus preventing the flip, right? There's more counterplay available to just a simple QE. It's good for the game. It's really good for the game.
No more first ban Garrosh is what you're saying.
No.
Auto ban.
People will do it just because they think he's still oppressive, but he's not. It's much, much more fair. But now he's much worse at team fights now because his main mode of getting kills is much harder to do. Now he's just a bad team fighter and also a bad initiator. So he's worse definitely, but it's better for the game. He was not fun to play against. Like, the best counterplay you had was just to not lane versus him.
Dive him with ETC and Tyrael.
Oh yeah, but levels 1 to 9, you just say, okay, you're squishy, just back up. Like, he can't wave clear, so it's just ignore him for the most part, and that's how you beat him. But now there's counterplay. You don't have to hide from him.
The biggest thing that this change did for him, well, obviously gave him the stun, so now he can stun things out, stun spells out, like Lily's Cups and Mosh Pit. But he sucks at defending now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest thing, because if let's say you lost the objective, you're Garrosh, and then you put your body right in front of the gate and try to get some easy picks that way and trying to equalize the advantage. Now that's like really hard to do. You're going to have to queue, walk out of the gate, hopefully quick enough to actually grab the person, throw him over. But if you have a movement ability, there's a split second, like a fifth of a second, where you can actually use that movement ability to get out. So if, like, unless you have like a speed boost as Garrosh from Lucio or some other spell, that if like Leeming's getting away every time.
Mm-hmm. Or Evolve Vault or a Titus Dash, you can actually leave his combo. There's counterplay. It's a lot better. It feels good. It feels much, much, much better.
Okay. All right.
I hope the meta adapts to him, because I think having Garrosh in the meta is fine. Just he's not going to be first ban anymore, but I just hope he doesn't like just disappear because of this.
They'll have to buff his other abilities to compensate. Because remember they gave him that weird mana cost increase just because he felt too good. Now that should go back to its original mana cost.
Okay, so Sergeant Hammer is the second highest win rate, or has the second highest win rate at the bronze and silver level. And I wanted to talk about why. Why is that? I have a good idea, but any ideas why Hammer is really good? And she also got buffed in the last patch. Am I right? Or wrong?
Yeah, 2 patches ago. She got a 12% just raw damage increase on the auto attack.
Mm-hmm. So is it just because Ardent coordinated teams in bronze and silver, they don't know what's going on? So they just do whatever they want, and then the hammer just sieges up and destroys towers.
So I don't know. I mean, I haven't really played against a hammer outside of quick match. In quick match, when I'm playing Zeratul, everyone's squishy, like she kills everybody, but haven't really seen her in Hero League games or
You should
draft
tell us
games.
in 2 weeks, French, when you find out for yourself.
Oh yeah, you can stream it.
Anyway, no, but seriously,
I think you hit the nail on the head. It's just uncoordinated, right?
Yeah, which kind of sucks, but
It's uncoordinated. Plus, she gets 50 armor every once in 15 seconds or something, 12 seconds.
Which well.
Yeah, 50 armor
So-
is a shit ton if you're sieged, right?
So
It's
if
50
you're in bronze or silver and someone first picks or second picks, hammer, what are you trying to? Are you just trying to pick dive to go in
Oh,
and kill her?
It's like
Chromie.
Hammer's one of the most counterable.
Chromie.
Chromie, yeah, Chromie and Stitches, like the
Or Hanzo.
tennis or tennis.
Hanzo too.
Hanzo, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm like so surprised you said Hammer was like top win rates. She's one of the most counterable characters up there with like Butcher.
Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, again, learn Stitches, learn Hanzo, learn Chromie, and you will win that
there's
trade.
no shortage of
eventually.
Chromie players in
Yeah.
bronze, silver, gold. So
So there you go. All right. So Ragnaros has the fourth highest win rate at the plat level and the silver or at the plat and gold level. Is that because of the wave clear with Lava Wave?
Yep. And he's a very, very, very good defensive character. So he's able to stall games out for your team. When any team wants to push, you use Lava Wave or you use your trait, and that kind of just halts the push almost immediately. So then people, once they have their first, plan stopped, they're like, oh, what do we do? They kind of just walk around for a little bit and waste time.
So if you're in gold 3 or gold 4, should you try to be like practicing Ragnaros right now? So that in a week from now. Okay.
oh shoot, telegraphed.
There you go.
No, I've been practicing Ride for the last 2 weeks or so.
Okay.
He works
Yeah,
really well.
Wow, non-tank. Prize.
Carries games just because you stop the enemy from pushing with one ultimate or a trait. You have 2 ways to stop a push by yourself.
He's been in a trait. He's been in a state where he kind of fell out of the meta after those nerfs, right? He got nerfed like 5 times in a row the past year. And I think it's safe to say he's not going to get huge changes or huge nerfs in the foreseeable future. So it's a good time to pick him up and learn him. Kind of like Thrall too. He's a solo laner, self-sustainer. You can he has a lot of comeback potential with his trait and Lava Wave, soaking experience. So he's one of the few solo laner carry heroes.
The meta's shifted too in his favor with all the laning changes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, 'cause minions will destroy a tower pretty easily with the higher damage.
Yeah,
higher health
minions will
pools.
destroy towers. Towers don't run out of ammo. Siege camps are much stronger now.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
being
good
able
point.
to clear a lane that you're not in and have your whole team push, like the night camp is probably the best camp now.
Yep.
The 30 spell armor that aura that it grants. I won like a game yesterday where all we did was push bottom the whole game for the most part, just with merc camps, and that night camp just empowers you so strongly. But Ragnaros could go and counter that with Lava Wave. Lava Wave's pick I just looked at as surged. He can defend that with his trait, and he can do that to push while the rest of your team's pushing with merc camps and shit. So he's in a good spot.
Yeah, I was playing a game with Daz from the Nexus Trolls the other day, and on Blackheart's Bay, they went Zool. The enemy team went Zool to soak top lane and mid lane, and what they did was they went Sylvanas and a Murden and a healer like Alex Raza, and what they did was they got the bottom night camp, and they just pushed with it nonstop because of the spell armor, and we couldn't kill the camp. And they were able to push that to get the tier 1 structure. Then they were able to get the turrets at the tier 2 structure. and we were really hamstrung the whole game because of that. So
If you had
Just an idea.
Ragnaros, you'd stop that.
exactly. But anyway, so I guess the reason why I brought it up is because those night camps are really powerful if you don't kill that little wizard that provides the aura, the 30 spell armor. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you could heal that wizard too if you're paying
Yes.
attention to some healers.
Yep. All right. So also Nazeebo, he got a change. So his Q now does more damage, but they reduced the damage of his level 20 Vile Infection, his most popular level 20 talent. So the one thing that stood out to me is that now Nazeebo's damage is more spread out evenly between the Q and the E. So, but what do you guys think about Nazeebo now?
Its toads are out of control.
Yeah. It's a good change. It buffed his spider damage, which his spider build isn't the predominant build right now, which is fine. They nerfed Gargantuan health, which is, nice because the Gargantuan has a ton of health. That's
Yeah, it has 3,000,
That's
right?
like
Way
the-
too much.
it starts off at like 2,100 something now, and before it was like 2,300. But like it's the only minion you don't kill. Rainer's summon, Jaina's water elemental, Kerrigan's summon. You can kill all those. The Gargantuan has like it has the same health as like a tank basically. So to try and kill that in a battle is a pain in the ass. And they decreased his level 20, so he's no longer like he's less likely to be like an auto win once you hit level 20, which is kind of nice because his level 20 is super strong Vile Infection. So to tone that down and redistribute his damage to the spiders, I thought was a good move.
It's better for the game. Hit level 20. He just turned on way too hard. You kind of just lost. You're on a clock the entire game to win before 20.
Yeah,
that's been decreased.
Yeah, and to compensate that, he's a little bit better before 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Brightwing, they reduced the cooldown of her W from 12 to 10 seconds.
Good buff.
So it's a pretty sizable buff. So like is that I think didn't we say that Brightwing is near the top of the support rankings essentially, right? She's like in the top 3 depending upon the map.
Yeah.
She's good. I mean,
Global.
I'm still waiting to see how it shakes out where all the supports lie after the nerfs they had and the meta change. But she's definitely good. She probably has one of the better wave clears now for support since Malfurion and Rhaegar got nerfed, and she has a lot of utility compared to where other healers had a lot more healing. Was a lot of their utility, so I think she's pretty solid right now. She's in a good spot.
I didn't think she needed a buff, honestly, but take it.
This is a buff.
All right. So speaking about getting buffed, Lily got buffed. So they buffed up her W and some talents associated with the W. But what do you guys think about Lily now?
I mean, they buffed her worst talents, right? They buffed all the dragon talents. So they're okay.
Yeah.
The real buff was the cleanse had a huge range increase from 4 to 6. That's like the really important thing. Now Lily is like one of the few healers that has cleanse. Like, well, there's Uther, Rhaegar, Lily, and who else has cleanse?
Taronda has cleanse.
Kinda. Well,
In her talents, right?
Well,
yeah.
that's the
in her
same thing with
talents.
Anna too. You
But
could
that
talent
like
for
cleanse.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
actual cleanse, like a
No.
hard
Yeah.
cleanse.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brightwing.
Yeah.
Brightwing, yeah. Other than that, that's it. So Lily's cleanse buff is the biggest thing in this patch.
Yeah.
Cooldown
Yeah.
is still the same, right?
Yep. So, but it has CDR baked into it. It's CDR from the fast feet.
Right. It's nice though because its range is 6, so it's slightly bigger than her auto attack range. So if you're in auto attack range, you're familiar with how big that is. You can get a cleanse off on somebody. So it's despite on top of it being bigger, it feels more intuitive to understand that size, that radius increase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always thought that her cleanse was like you had to be like next to your tank to get cleanses off in team fights.
It was weird. It was definitely weird to have that.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot more Lily recently, and Lily as solo, so going a cup build, she's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's the
the
best
buffs to Cloud Serpent tell you how terrible it was before they buffed it. When you buff an ability by 33%, and then you buff talents that buff it as well, her Cloud Serpent was in that build was absolutely terrible before.
Yeah, also the level 1 talent that they changed, it's a huge trap. It gives you CDR on the W, but then you have huge mana problems if you take it. So like don't ever pick that talent. It's bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Lucio got nerfed a little bit with his Amp It Up, his E ability. So, Bagan, you were playing Lucio in your streams yesterday, in your placements yesterday. What do you think about Lucio now?
His E has ever since the nerfs a while ago. Like we're talking about, like 6 months ago where they nerfed him out of the meta. His E always felt kind of weak, and he needed to get to level 16 before he was effective, and that's still kind of the case. And I think the player base has learned to play around it, so it is a nerf, and Lucio now is not the kind of healer that's going to take somebody from 10% to 100% in a cycle, so you just kind of have to live with that. And with the globe changes, it's not that hard to live with. But yeah.
Also, okay. Also, I wanted to mention, I almost forgot, is that they buffed Thrall again, and Ganjagun, a win timer and master level player, said it in chat or somewhere the other day that they've been slowly buffing Thrall. And I would not be surprised whatsoever if Thrall is like a tier 1 character on half the maps in about 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh, dude, my personal tier list, Thrall's tier 1. Like I played Thrall 4 times maybe this season. Out of the 20 placement games, I've won every single one, I think. So.
Yeah, I think
I've been
that
kind of feeling Thrall too. I've been kind of feeling him when you guys mentioned how OP he was on Volskaya.
Yep.
Since then, I've been playing in more maps where it's sort of like prolonged team fights, where he kind of buffs up his Q. It's kind of really, really strong. You don't have to be that concise with it, that precise. So
yeah, even on BOE, right? Prolonged team fights.
Yeah, BOE and Volskaya especially because you're right next to the well. Half the time you can just go and tap it. So yeah.
So this is a hero. If you could totally exploit this hero to rank up right now before the meta and everyone catches on. I think you right now, if you started playing Thrall right now, you would have about 2 to 3 weeks before, maybe more like 2 weeks before other shows comment on Thrall. But I think Thrall is really good. I think he's good at any play level. I think he's definitely way more better at lower levels because you can just poke and get someone down, get their health down, and then you can use your wolf to stun someone and finish them off.
Yeah, specifically that talent level 1, where if you hit 2 heroes with 1 chain lightning, and then that stacks, that was super strong.
Crash lightning.
Lightning,
yeah.
So
also remember, once you have the 20 procs, you can like start hitting like towers, and it'll jump to the next hero.
Yeah,
they'll
prioritize
that.
Yeah,
like, a lot of kills off of just zapping towers.
You get even more stacks. Yep.
My personal build, I go Echo of the Elements, the one that gives you a second Q.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I go Mana Tide at level 4.
Mm-hmm.
Frostwolf Resilience restores 15 mana and reduces basic ability cooldowns by 0.5.
Yep.
And then Ancestor Wrath, Earthquake, Frostwolf Graves, which is the trait heal, Tempest Fury, and then usually Windrush, the blink one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
And that's
I had a clip yesterday where I got caught by the enemy team, and then I got down to like 10% HP, and then I cast Earthquake, my trait to heal, and then spanned all my abilities and used Ancestral Wrath on the tank, and I was able to heal up to full, kill 2 people, and then by the end of the Earthquake's 3rd or 4th pulse, I had Ancestral Wrath up again.
that's
You have the
awesome.
clip. You have the clip right now.
Next show.
I
Next
can
show.
get it up, but yeah. That's
Yeah.
what
But
she
anyway, oh, boom.
No.
Oh. But again, so there
Candy,
you go.
though? Wait, Candy.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got to see. We got to see if you can perform.
said. Excuse me.
Hold on. Grab a watermelon. I'll help you.
Ah, for Scott.
Watermelon.
Watermelon. All right. But again, so there you go. So there you go. If you want to, that's the predict the meta portion of the show where I will get credit when Thrall's really OP. So there you go.
No, that's what
you?
Scott and Bacon were saying back
No,
then
no,
on
no,
the
no.
Sky.
I said it on the podcast. So I have audio.
What are you talking about? I've been preaching up Thrall for the past couple months.
It's been a while since they said
Yeah.
that.
No.
Like
He's
2
strong,
episodes
but I don't
ago.
know about OP. He got a 5% buff to his auto attack damage, which is nice, but I don't see that sending him towards OP.
Certain maps, I think the prolonged team fight maps, he has that cheese mentality with the crash lightning, especially low levels, super easy.
but As Bacon's saying that, he's viable even on maps where that doesn't happen. You just go with the echo of the elements, and that's
Yeah.
the other way to play
All
him.
that, it's procking all your talents for Frostwolf.
Yeah, so it's
I
actually
have it
good.
up here.
Oh, here we go.
Got
There we go.
Bacon got it up.
Got it up.
Got it up. All right. So here I am. I'm
See
getting
this.
chased.
Wait, that's you, Bacon? Holy crap!
Yeah.
Bottom of the screen.
I get stunned. 10%.
Oh shit!
We blinked.
Oh, you stood in there.
Went with the
Shit.
full. Well, they're still in the earthquake.
They can't leave. They have to commit.
Yeah, he's right. There's DQ's behind him.
And then
He's still
Ancestor
full
Wrath is
health.
up.
Yeah.
Still
Look
full
how
health.
fast I went up. All right, so I
Yeah,
get caught
Bacon
here.
got
That was
caught
a
out.
good stun. That was a good
Bone
stun.
right there. Holy
was good
shit!
combo.
That
Earthquake,
was a good. Yeah.
jump out,
Yeah.
use the E, use E again.
That ETC pin cushion.
Yeah.
Telling you guys.
Wow.
There you go. Yeah, you have it back up again. Yeah.
Yeah, and he has mana and full health after being brought down to 1%.
All right, I gotta play Thrall again because I used to like
Yeah.
playing Thrall.
So there you go. I get all the credit for saying Thrall's good. All right, let's move on.
Yeah,
No.
you're right. That's Fringe playing right there. That's Fringe.
Right. The truth will come out when Fringe plays his Hero League games.
Oh yeah, play Thrall in your Hero League. Just carry
Oh,
with
yeah.
him.
I have
All right,
never
so-
seen you play Thrall French.
Any
worry.
any attacking hero,
Yeah, any
No, no.
melee assassin is not touched
any
by this
let
player.
alone ranged or melee assassin period.
Okay. Anyway, all
I
right.
can't
So
notice
lastly,
that this hero doesn't have a ranged attack.
all right. So Artanis, he got buffed. They buffed his level
Level
13.
Yeah.
Well, 7 too, but they buffed his level 7 phase bulwark. I think Grizzly, another one timer, was saying that Artanis is really good now.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't yet to see it.
It's Grizzly though, so you know.
Hey, so you can trust him.
I don't know. I
Mostly-
don't know if I trust him,
We don't
but
trust Grizzly in this show. Huh?
anyway,
Yeah,
I don't
there's
know. But a one timer, said that he's really good, and he's like a almost fringe plat player. So, but
I thought you were gonna say Fringe like player. I was like, no, don't even
Yeah,
try
why
to
would it-
compare.
I didn't.
He plays
I'm not-
melee
dude,
assassins.
I thought you were like Fringe like almost.
No,
Like no, don't even try to
No,
do
no.
that.
He's He's one of those heroes. Like, I'm an Artanis player. That's kind of one of those heroes. Not like everyone. Everyone plays Greymane. Everyone plays Vala, but the true Artanis players play Artanis, and they're good with them. Can swap, whatever. So if you're good with Artanis, you got even better, I guess.
Yep. All right.
Yeah. Wait,
So
one
that's
last
it.
thing. No,
Yes.
one last thing on the show notes. Diva got a massive auto attack buff for her mech. She went from 21 to 24, so that's like what, a good 12% damage buff, which is
14.
huge. 14, yeah,
Yeah.
that's massive for her. Like, she's now waving her much more effectively. She feels much more useful in her mech. Before she was kind of just using Nerf bats. She's
Just-
much
yeah.
better.
So, are you saying that woman is useful for a change?
Whoa.
Jeez,
Kidding. No, I did not say that.
Whoa.
I'm
No.
kidding. Even
God,
wave clear is better now.
Oh God. All right.
Goodness.
Anyway. All right.
Well, yeah, that's because
You're
never
going
mind.
to
Oh.
timeout.
Yeah, Fridge just
Whoa.
killed it.
There's
Oh.
justice on the
Ooh.
Gankbush squad.
He deserves that.
Gankbush squad
All right.
justice.
Do not condone.
Anyway.
All right, timeout's over.
For
Have you
those
learned
of
your
you listening
lesson?
at home. Yeah. for those- I was laughing as I said it. Okay. God, jeez. Okay. So, let's move on.
Wow.
Never mind. All right. Anyway, all right. So so the other day, are you okay, Tower Baron?
Gotta take a step back from that.
Yep.
I'm good. I'm
Check
good.
yourself.
I'm good.
You
I'm
wrecked
good.
yourself there,
Ah.
Fridge.
Let's go.
All right.
Let's get
all right.
back on track. Talk about wieners. I
Yeah,
guess.
wieners.
Ah.
Wieners.
Puppy
All right.
wiener, puppy wiener. Not anyone. No.
All right. So
Nope.
on the
South Park.
19th, Blizzard posted another. Well, okay. Let's do a recap. When ranked came out, they messed up, so they reset ranks for some players, and then
Oh.
they. Well, the first reset was just for a few, right?
No. Oh.
Oh, okay. Then they did it again.
Yes.
So okay. So when the new season started, they reset everyone after a couple days, I guess, and then they reset them again a couple days later, and then 2 days ago they said they're going to do a manual correction for placements if you ranked or if you placed 5 divisions higher or lower than where you ended up last year. So if you were in silver and you ended
5
up in plat,
Divisions.
yeah.
All right.
So if you began the year or last season and silver 1, and you got placed into plat 1, they will manually reduce you back to
Gold.
gold,
Yeah,
I guess. Gold
one,
gold
I guess.
3. Yeah.
So the terminology is a little bit confusing. Division is like division 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and leagues are silver, bronze, gold. Those are the leagues.
All right. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
So if you're over 1 league than last season place, they're gonna bring you down to 1 league range.
So my biggest takeaway from everything that's happened is, Nubkex did a video on this a couple days ago, and I actually 100% agree with him. He was saying that if you've already played Hero League before, why do we even have placements, right? If you have played 200 games the last calendar year, why do you need placements again to figure out where you belong? Because the 200 games prior to that have a pretty good indication of where you belong. So why should 10 games at the start of a new year dramatically impact you positively or negatively at all? Because yes.
I can't believe you're saying that because you're the one who wanted some sort of mechanism that would allow you to climb faster out of your particular league. And that's what it was at the start of the season. You could accelerate your moving up or down, like during those 10 games. I mean,
I think it's okay. Well, I think what the algorithm is, which I think it's kind of been, is that the first game has the most weight, and then the next one has a little bit less, and then a little bit less as you move forward through your placements.
that sucks.
Yeah. So the thing is that, like, if you lose your first 3, you're kind of boned. Even if you win the next 7, it seems like, and it seems as though that's not because like okay to use one example that is from a one timer blemish, right? So for 2 seasons he would they would place him in plat 3 or plat 4, and he would grind his way up to diamond, like diamond 5 or diamond 4. And then the next season he would have some shitty placement games and they would put him back in plat again. And then he would do it. He would grind up again to diamond, and then he would do his placements. And he hasn't finished his placements yet this season. But if he gets placed, he said if he gets placed in plat again, then he's just going to quit because what's the point? And actually, if I was him, I totally agree. Why should someone continue to grind if these placement games are potentially placing him back in a at a ranking that's inappropriate for his level.
Well, in theory, that's what the personal matchmaking adjustment system's supposed to do. So, they said the more Hero League games you play, especially if you're climbing or falling, the MMR and the rankings start deviating from each other because the MMR is hidden, and that's what they use to make you with other teammates, and you can play games and they start deviating, and then they use the placement matches to get you back to where they think you belong. And the problem is those first 10 games or first 50 games, whatever the actual number is, because they do have like a number of games that are weighted more than others than the ones following. It's like we've already seen like you could have a bad losing streak and you're placed like 2 leagues lower or 2 leagues higher based on winning or losing streaks. So that's
but the issue is, I guess, why should 10 games randomly 10 why should 10 games have more weight than other? Why should 10 games have more of an impact than other games?
Well, ideally it shouldn't, but it's kind of using like in our old StarCraft system too, that was adopted over.
Yeah, but I guess the whole idea that Nutkex was saying is that why have placements for those players? And actually,
it keeps things fresh, is what it does.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
gives you like I have
at that point, if you're why would you end a season if you're just gonna keep the same rank?
Well, I guess what I'm saying is like if you to use that example again, this is a very specific example, but like I feel like he's not the only one that has this issue where if you've grinded up to diamond, right, after like 100 games or whatever, why should 5 or 10 placement games bring you back down to? Why should that negate the previous 100 games that you played? And it doesn't feel good.
We also don't know all the information. I'm not calling him out, but I'm not saying it's bad or anything. Let's just say hypothetically that he did have a positive win rate and he did climb out, but he did not win enough in the adjustment system to actually,
I think his win rate was like 58.
Like
I think it was 58 to 60%.
His MMR wasn't climbing as fast as his rank was. Do you know what I mean?
So you think that maybe he was getting carried in those wins? Is that basically what you're saying?
I mean, it could be. And let's say the personal matchmaking system was put in and it was working correctly, and it would be that he would win, but win less points. So if that were the case, that even if he did have a 58% win rate, his ranking would match more closely to his MMR. Now, I'm not saying this is the case, but this is the theory of how it's supposed to work.
Well, yeah. So I guess what you're saying is that he may have had a 58% win rate, but like in reality, he only got 50%, wins.
But how many games did he play as well? Do you know? Like during that season?
He did it twice. He did it for 2 seasons.
He plays under like 50 games a season, I think.
Well, even if you look at the last 2 seasons, that's 100 games, right? I mean, that's a pretty good sample to realize. Okay,
I wouldn't expect the matchmaker to constantly put you up to the highest rank you achieved in the season before from your placements. If you want to end up at where you placed the previous season, especially as you go in the higher ranks. I think you got to probably go maybe 7-3 or better.
Yeah, but why does going 7-3 in your placements have more weight than the previous 10 games?
The higher you go in rankings, I think the more you're meant to climb the ladder, because you got all these really good players who get their MMRs compressed down to 1,000 Master League points. That pushes down the people who are in the lower masters. They push them down. That pushes the people, in diamond in down maybe a rank or two. Like, I think it just compresses people downwards when they do these resets a little bit, and you gotta work towards it to climb up the couple ranks you were previously, unless you have a really good run of placement games.
I mean, that makes sense, but is that actually true, or are we making assumptions there?
I would argue, well, it could be, I don't know, but I guess the biggest point, like, let's go to all backpack first.
No, like, didn't we want MMR decay? And so, like, if you play 100 games, then your last 25 have more weight than the previous 75, right? It's not what we wanted.
Well, no, I never wanted that, but
No, MMR decay. The only other Blizzard game that has it, I think, no, StarCraft does it too. But in Overwatch, it's only once you're past a certain league. I think once you're past Diamond and go into Masters and above, that's the only league that ranking decay goes into effect.
Mm-hmm.
So,
no, I guess the overall thing is that I feel as though, I don't know, I just feel like, I guess what I'm trying to get to is that why are placements so important, right? I mean, they're important if you don't play like me. I haven't played, I think I've played maybe 3 Hero League games in the last calendar year. For me, they should have more weight, right? But for someone who has, even if you do play 50 games, it's a pretty good idea. Statistically, there's enough data there to make a good assessment of your skill level. And the fact that, like, because you get unlucky in your first 10 games to start a new season doesn't, it doesn't feel right. I feel like it doesn't make sense for players who play every year.
I know what this is all about.
Well,
this is all about
no.
Fringe trying to play his placement games.
Let's break it
Has
down a
nothing to do
little
with
bit.
it.
Let's say
That's what it's all about.
We
Fringe
found
is
it.
afraid.
We found it. It's Fringe
No,
defending
hold on.
himself.
Being
Let's say,
afraid.
hold on. Let's say you went 7-3. Let's say I'm gold 3, and then I went 7-3 in my placements, and then I placed plat 3. Not unreasonable. It happens all the time. But what you're saying is, out of the 7-3, I had net gained 4 wins, and 4 wins was able to grant me 5,000 points worth of MMR ranking grinding. So that means each win that I got was worth what? 1,250 points or something?
Mm-hmm.
So why did in 10 games I climb 5,000 points where the rest of the 200, 300 I'm going to climb only 1 to 2,000?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what Matt's trying to get at.
Yeah,
And the opposite is true too. If you went like 2-8,
Yeah.
let's say you just had a bad weekend or you just got bad luck, which happens, and then you drop, 3,000 points, like.
Well, I guess to use a
get the
baseball
same,
reference.
I mean, to get the same effect, you have to lose like 20, 30 games in a row to get that kind of similar effects. So
yeah,
why is someone so punished, or
it's like if you take a hitter, right, and he's a 270 hitter for the entire season, but then in the playoffs he bats 150. Is this hitter now a bad hitter? No, he just had a bad 15 games of hitting. It doesn't mean that he's a bad hitter now. It just means that he had a bad stretch. It doesn't mean that he should now be placed in the minors to begin the next year. So I don't know. I just feel like that since we're used to placements, that we just accept it for what it is. But we never really questioned its existence. We just assumed that, okay, well, it's always been there, so we should have him. But
No,
I mean,
they
obvious,
wasn't always
but
there. They weren't always there. There was a time when they weren't there, and you were saying, "I don't want to grind my way out of gold because it would take too many
they
games."
were there since preseason. What are you talking about? Placements have always been a thing.
yeah,
Yeah, but they never had. they've had it where you gained more points during the placements.
Yeah, but
I don't think
I
so.
don't.
What
I
are you
don't. I'm
talking
not,
about? You
I'm
don't
not.
gain any points during placements.
I mean, you would rise up in your rank higher during
MMR,
placements.
you mean?
I guess why this whole thing has been about why are placements, why is there so much weight on them? That's all. And I feel as though it's kind of like, in the United States, we just pay taxes and we just pay them. We don't really think about it. We don't question it. We just pay it. And I feel like placements have taken that now where like we just have to do placements every year or every season and we just accept it. And I feel as though that the system of placements doesn't really make as much sense anymore, or that the weighting of them is too high.
There's been a lot of people who have complained that, I'm a lot better. I'm silver 4. I should be like a plat 4.
But they're not though. These people are.
Yeah, but so Blizzard has said, okay, we're gonna do these soft resets at the end of each season, and you have an opportunity to move up or down quicker.
This has got to be with the personal matchmaking system. It's got to be the first step, right, towards this kind of direction, getting rid of the whole placement matches and adjustment points system, right, altogether, to make your rank accurately reflect your performance in MMR.
Well, you got to redo ranks and have placement matches every season because you have to. You got to reset the ladder. It keeps things fresh. It keeps people playing the game because it's like, I don't have a rank anymore. I got to try and get up to Grandmaster. I got to try and get up to, maybe I'll, instead of getting gold 1, maybe I'll try and get to like plat 3.
Yeah,
what if
totally
what
true.
if like
all these other
you start the season?
All these other sports have seasons. All these other sports have seasons where you have these big matches at the end of the season or the beginning of the season that's weighted more than your games earlier on in the season. It makes it more interesting to play games that are worth more or more's on the line. It's just more interesting. To me, at least.
Well, again, I go back to the baseball example. If you have a hitter for 150 games, hits 270 with 50 home runs, but then goes into the playoffs like Cody Bellinger this past year and don't hit at all, is Cody Bellinger a shitty player? No.
Well, that's
really
totally
good.
up for debate. If you can play well in the regular season and then you do shit in playoffs, I'd say you're a shitty player. I don't care what your stats are. It's all about the big plays and the big games. It's not just like, I just play for the stats in the regular season and I
the
can't win
metaphor's
shit.
falling apart.
Yeah.
No, but
You got to be the big game player. You can't just.
But okay, this is what I'll say.
Stats.
I'm all for the 10 games having more weight, but the fact that like it scales based upon the games, so the first game has the most weight, and then the second game has the next amount, and then scales downward. That makes no sense to me because each game theoretically has a 50-50 shot of winning, right? So why should
Well,
I don't
each game they should be getting you closer and closer to your MMR. That's why that variance decreases.
But it's
I
also,
know, but like,
it's the lower you go, the more shit show that you face. It's not RNG proof.
yeah.
I mean,
Like, what if you get
Scott
a-
and I, we're
Yeah.
I mean, you can say we've earned the right to play at this level, but we don't face half the toxic shit that the people below plat face, on a daily basis.
I don't really care about that part. That's just get better. But like I'm saying is that,
But let's say you
I'm
face
saying-
one troll on your team 4 games in a row, and now you've lost your first 4 placement games.
yeah, exactly.
Due to no fault of your own. Now you're gonna say, "Oh, I was gold 3 this season, but just because of this one little dickhead, he's gonna take my MMR down to like silver 5 just by himself." I mean that stuff happens at that MMR range.
Yeah, and what if you have an AFK in your first game? But that's definitely no fault of
That's
your
pretty
own.
rough. That's pretty
I don't know.
rough.
People are always going to find a reason to complain.
No.
If you want to
like,
have more accurate placements, you got to increase the number. If you could up it to 20, that would probably make it much more accurate. But people would still complain. It's too many games.
Here's the idea. Here's the idea that's been flung around Reddit lately. Increase the number of games that you play if you're the first time placer, 20 to 30, let's say. And then at the end of the season, that sticks. And the beginning of the next season, you have to play 10 to 20 games of your placements, but you start as that previous season's rank. and you're only playing the placements to unlock this season's rewards.
Mhm. Yeah,
What
I
do you
mean,
guys think about that? And then let's
yeah, I
say
guess so.
they add a little bit of little system where the first 20 games or 30 games you play during that season to unlock the rewards, you gain like 25% or 50% more points per win. I mean, you can do a system like that. And that's the soft adjustment reset that goes on every season. You can build in.
I guess what I'm saying, I guess that could be okay. Just like I don't know, I can just see like the frustration of someone who grinds. If you play 50 games, you get to Diamond 4, and then they place you back in Plat 3. I can see why people would be frustrated in that. That's all. And I think that it can be easily fixed. Maybe instead of if he goes 4 and 6, just put him in Plat 2 or Plat 1. But anyway.
Well, it's the
Anyway.
system in the Hero League system. In theory, you earn your rank, and in many cases, you do not. It's a lot of it is about luck.
Yeah, but that's the whole idea, that ranked is not supposed to incorporate luck so much with your placements or with your ranking, right? I mean, that's the whole idea.
Yeah. Luck, whether it be your teammates. There's no loss forgiveness for people disconnecting.
So, but again, if you're in silver and you complain about being in plat, then you don't belong in plat. So get better. Odds are you're not that good. Get over it. All right. So
I really want to see Fringe's Hero League.
I don't know.
Is this
No,
just
I don't
making
care
it
about I do not care
so
where
much
I'm ranked.
more?
Get
doesn't
over
matter
it
to me
or
where I am.
listen to
Interesting to watch.
podcasts.
No, I don't care. It's not about me. I've been thinking about this lately because it's been a week or two of the whole ranked fiasco. I've just been thinking about it, and I just wanted to talk about it. It has nothing to do with me because after my 10 games, I'm not playing again. So,
What if you do well?
I'm not playing again. I'll be playing chair league. That'll be
going
my.
into it. You're going into it with a really negative attitude, like you're going to hate it
No.
already.
No. I am looking forward because our listeners, worked. They left us reviews, and I will do my best. I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just like I said I'd do it. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to become Moonfair and stream every day. I'll do it, and then I'll be playing chair league, which to me is way more fun than ranked because I'll be playing with win timers. Some of them are friends of mine, so that's way more fun to me than playing Hero League by myself. With people watching on. But anyway, all right, moving on.
Can I get one last note in?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, we just spent the last 20 minutes complaining about the system, but let's give it to Blizzard. I mean, for
That's
the
perfectly
response
fine.
they've had. Yeah, I mean, they did what they could with the staff they had probably on holiday, so yeah.
Yeah.
No,
what else can you ask? I mean, the people fucking took it too far. People getting death threats, like Blizzard staff getting death threats on Twitter. Are you kidding me?
That's awful.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it wasn't that serious. I could understand
not.
people being upset if their ranking got messed up, or just the fact that they played their ranking games possibly 3 times before their ranking stuck. I understand that's frustrating, but I mean, if you're playing that earlier in the season, you're probably going to put in at least, I'd say at least 100 games. Well, I mean, what's the big deal with playing a couple more?
Yeah, and also I actually wrote a Reddit post that said that essentially, just basically. I mean, I don't know what I said because Blizzard, or not Blizzard, but Reddit removed my post within 30 minutes. But basically, what I said was that it's who feels the worst about all this is the Blizzard team feels the worst about this, and I said if you're this upset about ranked Hero League ranked, it's not that if that's the worst thing that happens to you this holiday, then you are the luckiest person in the world because there are people that have it way worse than you. Some people got diagnosed with with a potentially fatal
And that
virus.
point in the argument is why it got removed.
I know, but I'm just saying, but
that's why so many people flamed you.
Yeah.
There's starving children in Africa, and you're gonna complain about having to redo your matches?
No one likes that argument of
No, what I'm
don't
saying,
complain
well, no,
because
shit.
other people have it better. No one.
No,
that
no.
argument never works.
I didn't say that. I just said like you could be a guy that gets dumped on Christmas Eve. Like you think he gives a shit about placements? You think like like
Depends on the guy.
Yeah, there was whole
uh,
"don't complain because it could be worse" argument. It's not. It doesn't. Do you think
It's
it's,
not
gonna
that big a
work on
deal,
these
though.
nerds?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
it
sure
never works.
Stalin told people that before he sent them to the gulag.
yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Gulag
what the fuck?
Christmas? It's Christmas, man.
Yeah, but-
Jesus Christ!
I'm going. That's Fringe's analogy.
No,
hey,
well, all,
could be
all
worse.
I'm saying, no,
Go to the
all I was trying to
gulag.
say, no, all I was trying to say is that the people who feel the worst is the Blizzard team. That's all. Like, it's not as like these guys are like, oh my god, these guys, they can't do their Hero League properly. Ha ha ha. We got them. No, they don't think like that. They feel like shit too.
I think deep down
So-
inside, most people will know this. But that whole starving children in Africa argument, and then everyone's salty to begin with, and you're going into this atmosphere. You're kind of like Kyle from South Park. You know what I mean? There's the angry mob, and they're like, "Hey, everyone, stop! Listen to my speech," and then, stop being an asshole, Kyle. That kind of.
Yeah. No, and I think in the post I said, a lot of us have shitty jobs. We come home, we want to unwind, and so for some of us, it's playing Hero League, and that was taken away from us. That sucks. But you just missed a week of Hero League. It's not that big of an issue. But anyway, okay, all right, enough of that.
Soaking in, it sounds like.
Schizophrenic. Listen, guys, it could be
That
worse.
comment.
You could eat broccoli sprouts on a daily basis.
Real
Yeah, that's
Hey.
like a terrible existence.
Yeah, you know
Yeah,
what,
dude.
Schizo? Some people do have it worse.
Yeah.
Okay, so there
Oh,
was
by the
another.
way, for the listeners, French has been growing broccoli sprouts the past week
Yeah.
or so,
No one
and
got
he's
that.
been like
But-
telling everyone.
Yeah.
So
And
Scott,
eat
how
them on a
was that?
daily basis.
The
Yeah, how were they?
pictures look disgusting, by the way, though.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
All right, Scott had some like 2 hours ago. How were they?
They were all right. For being healthy, I could eat them.
See, and Scott is a huge animal protein person, so yeah.
Animal protein.
Hey, I eat my vegetables too.
All right, so there was a post on Reddit about players who play at the low master, fringe grandmaster level, and basically what the post was asking was, pro players behaving badly or some pro players behaving badly, and then it turned into the comments turned into like, oh yeah, pro players are like whiny assholes who just don't know how to socialize with, in the real world type of behavior. And it kind of snowballed out of control.
And that
And it
turned
actually-
into a bunch of posts of pro players saying, "Look at me, I'm the innocent one. I'm nice, guys. Please don't think of me like that."
The reason why I bring this up is because Scott and Bacon have probably played Hero League games with some of these North American pro players anyway. And I wanted to talk about because obviously if you're a pro player, you're used to a level of play. And it seems that there may be some bad apples, maybe, but is it really that big of an issue when you guys play? Because I know Bacon was playing with Faye, an ex-pro player, and yesterday. But what do you guys? Is your experience like this with when you guys play with pro players for the most part? Are they like kind of toxic?
Bacon, you want to take this first, or you?
can go
Okay, he's
for
got
it.
the shoulders. I mean, pro players can be just as salty as the next person.
Yeah.
But I mean, one thing you gotta remember about these pro players is a lot of them are young. A lot of them are like in their early 20s, and they're not the most mature people, and they're used to playing a high level of competition.
That's so,
So
funny
I-
when you say that, Scott.
I can
Yeah, you're the
understand
one-
how they would get frustrated,
It's
but
so funny.
You're like, this freaking tower baron, he sucks.
I mean, I
Be
can
the
understand
professional
how they're
player.
getting frustrated, but I mean, if you read some of the Reddit posts, these guys are getting paid for a living. They sure as hell better be better than the casual people they're playing with. So, for them to expect better, is one thing. For them to say everybody sucks, You know, I don't walk around telling somebody on the street, "Hey, you can't do the same job I do. You suck."
What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think, Bacon?
In terms of like a pro player or ex pro or like a really high amateur player, maybe I've played over like the past year, what 25-ish, right? Um, and none of them were like crazy toxic of go kill yourself or go fuck yourself, things like that. That never happened to me, but you know if I recognize them and I'm thinking, oh, this guy's good, and then he starts talking shit, I'm like, is that really true? I asked myself that question, like, this Greymane is a piece of shit. He shouldn't be diving. So what? So I asked myself, this guy is saying it in a salty way, but what is the Greymane actually doing wrong? And then I end up learning something from it. So
I guess
it's a good learning opportunity. Like they might be frustrated, but there's some truth in what they're saying because they're usually right. They're not saying it in the most constructive way, but there's nuggets of information to be had.
Yeah, I think to piggyback on Scott, what he said, like a lot of these guys are like 20 years old, 25 and under, and as someone who's 35 now, I can imagine being 25 and being like one of the best. Your ego's really inflated, then you're playing with like I can see why they would get upset as someone who used to be 25 and
they play video games for a living, so they probably haven't been out into the real world and had like a real job or at least like a career that they cared about before they got in to doing HOTS for a living. So they probably don't understand professionalism.
Yeah,
towards
it's kind of
job.
Yeah, it's kind of like if I walked onto the the Cleveland Cavaliers practice games and I just showed up, started playing with LeBron James. You think he's gonna be excited that I'm there playing with him and his team? No. You know what I mean? Like you think LeBron's gonna be like, oh my God, Fringe Average is here. I'm all excited for this. No, he's gonna be kind of salty about that. So anyway, I think my takeaway from reading this post was that there's probably some pro players that are kind of that take it too far, like Mopsio, maybe. But I mean, I think this guy came off as like a kind of whiny as well too. But
no,
I think for the most part,
there are some pro guys that are
there are some for sure.
And if they're under the HGC paycheck and they signed a contract, that contract better have some player management clauses in there to avoid shit like this, because that's embarrassing for Blizzard.
Oh, I totally agree with that. Like the whole Mopsio thing where he got suspended for a weekend for for I don't know for what, but like it seemed as though that he got suspended for like
two
prolonged
matches.
Yeah, well, yeah, for 2 matches, but like for prolonged being douchey, right?
Yeah, but that's like 2 matches for a year and a half worth of toxicity, which is not even fair for
Well, I mean, I don't know if that time frame is true or not, but like there are some. But I think for the most part, as I think what Scott and Bacon said, that for the most part, the majority of them are, they're no different than us. We'll put it that way.
Well, so, I had a game where I think a Roll20 R20 Justing was on my team playing ETC, and he was like getting frustrated because he was setting up a lot of plays that the rest of the team wasn't pouncing on the opportunities. So he was just like, fucking follow me, you noobs. And then I was like, yes, sir. We followed him and won the game after that. Like, fucking A, he's right.
Yeah, and also
he's salty, but he's right.
Also, Justing was on the Troll and HUC podcast on this past Tuesday. So if you want to listen to the audio, go to trolls.gg and find the Troll and HUC podcast. You can find it. You can watch the hour or hour and a half long interview with him.
Yeah. He was like wearing a Murloc suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
But anyway, all right. So Tower Bennett had a draft analysis segment.
Oh yeah, I don't have a replay analysis because I didn't play that much this weekend, but I did have an interesting draft for my first Hero League match on Battlefield of Eternity. So for this draft, The opponents were Greymane, Jaina, Lili, Varian, and Genji. So very dive heavy, hint, hint. And the allies were Uther, Zarya, Vala, Malthael. It comes down to one last pick. I picked this one because it's my first Hero League game, and also it seems like the outcome of the entire game hinges on this last pick, more or less. So I know what actually
Who's
happened, but I'm
banned?
interested.
Were there any tanks banned?
So I left out the bans so we can talk more openly about like who we would want to pick. I mean, if there's a bans, we can give maybe two options.
No bans. Let's just If you had the entire player pool, like at your level, so ranging from Grandmaster, Master, Platinum, Silver type, what type of who would you choose? I think it's pretty obvious, but
first of all, do we all agree that this last pick is the most? It's like really is going to determine the outcome of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think it's pretty obvious who the pick should be. But
yeah, I know who it is too. It's Fringe's favorite tank.
Let's say it on the count of 3. Let's see if we're right. On 3 and then go. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Diablo.
All right. So we're on the same page. This sounds like it.
I said Tyrael.
All right. So why did you say Tyrael? Oh, backpack.
The fight's gonna be initiated by Arena Frost, and once that hits, then the Genji and Greymane will dive in. If you have a Sanct, you'll counter their dive, and you'll survive and you'll win the fight.
All right. So Scott, why do you say Diablo?
Because I didn't think anybody else would.
Oh,
but I'd say Diablo or ETC are my two. Diablo can provide peels and keep your team away. You basically need a zoning tank that can provide peels, and Diablo and ETC both provide that.
The enemy team has 0 mosh deny too.
Oh yeah, that's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Mosh.
Yeah. They have a lot of blow up deny, but that's counterable with Zarya's shield and Uther's divine shield. And then if Valo had some brains, she would go Gloom at level 13.
What about Arthas?
No, Arthas won't be able to stop a Genji at all. Greymane certainly, but Genji just does laps around Arthas.
So no Johanna.
Johanna could work. She's a better zoning tank than Diablo would be.
This is as long as Jaina is in that mosh pit, right? Yeah. There's no blow up that can take ETC out that quickly because Greymane has to dive in to do that burst damage. He's not gonna dive in. Lili's not gonna do shit. Varian's not gonna do anything. Genji has to be kind of close range to do his slash. So ETC pretty sure will be the best pick.
Yeah, I'd definitely go with ETC as the best pick if he's not banned. Because while he's good here for the peels, he's probably about on par with Diablo. You have a Zarya on your team. One of ETC's weaknesses is he's a fairly squishy tank, but having Zarya to give him shields for a little extra survivability, I think covers that weakness and makes him the best choice.
And once, sorry.
Even with ETC, do you think the game sways in the allied team's favor?
Yeah, with Mosh Pit.
Or is it 50-50, or what's the actual...
ETC and no interrupts for the other team? Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd say like a 75-25?
So
70-30.
So Schizo said Artanis.
I don't know about that.
I disagree with that.
Artanis doesn't feel.
Also, they have mostly spell damage, and spell damage is not what blinds take care of.
Yeah, I never saw Artanis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Artanis would not work at my level.
Yeah. ETC with his dive and mosh pit is gonna localize that fight. He's gonna focus that fight around him, and that keeps attention away from Vala. And once the fight kind of goes your way, Malthael can do whatever he wants in terms of chasing the enemy team. and finishing off kills. But let's say ETC is off the table. Who's a good second?
Tyrael.
Second,
Anubarak for the cocoon on Genji.
On Genji. Wouldn't
I
you
mean,
want a cocoon Varian and just kind of walk up to him?
No, Genji's their finisher. You wanted to cocoon the Dragon Blade.
Oh, okay.
I like Tyrael in the late game though. If you get in a expulsion zone and then you holy ground behind that target, like that target's going to be dead because the enemy team can't get to the target in the expulsion zone, and you can get a kill that way.
Yeah. Also, they have no real sort of peel on their tank. They have a dive tank, but a very bad peel tank.
Yeah. So
yeah, Anubarak would be good. What about Diablo? This is Battlefield of Eternity.
Yeah, he's okay. I mean, Diablo has very bad soul stacking, and Jaina makes him slow basically permanently, so it's hard to really beat the Diablo.
I think if it's like, if you're a diamond Diablo or higher, I think there's more value. But I think if you're lower than that, because the map isn't really as conducive for him to do well. So I think the higher level of ability is required for Diablo on this map. But
yeah,
what do I know?
Well, once Diablo gets his stacks, the enemy team is really heavy on ability damage, except for Greymane. As long as Uther kind of pays attention to Vala with Divine Shield, I mean it might work out.
Yeah. What about Chen?
Yeah.
Chen.
He's Schizo brought it up in chat too. I'm just throwing out ideas.
You need like a main tank. I think Chen's just more of like a chase. Like you pick him on like whenever the team's split up.
Couldn't you just do a barrel roll when Lily does her jugs and then they have no healing, then kill them?
I think all Chen's gonna do is give Lily fast feet.
Yeah. Chen barrel rolling Lily out of her healing isn't going to matter because your team, the rest of the team's going to blow up your team.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, probably no Muradin either. I think maybe Muradin.
Yeah. Muradin's okay.
Slow attack speed, but he's not gonna it's gonna be hard to hit his stun off. I think if someone.
Let's say you coordinate this, but you go Gorge, right? And then
Stitches.
Zarya expulsion zones out Variant's taunt. That way Stitches can actually run away.
Yeah, I can see that. That'd be kind of...
Yeah, but that's not happening.
Or let's say Variant ease in to get the taunt off on Stitches to keep him from running away, and then Uther Divine Shield Stitches or something.
Oh,
it's kind of cute.
So does Skullcracker on Muradin proc does it proc through taunt?
It does. They're auto attack still.
Okay, so there you go.
Oh, that's cool.
But anyway, so all right, so I think we said ETC and then either Anubarak or Diablo or Tyrael. But
yep, we like those.
All right,
yep.
All right, Tarburn, what was the last pick?
So a little bit of backstory to this draft.
Oh, shit.
Here we go.
Zarya picked third, and she showed her pick before anyone else picked. She says, "I'm going Zarya. Can we get a second tank?" The guy in last position said yes. And what happened was, as he got to his place, he ended up picking Gazlo.
Oh,
nice.
And we lost before level 16. And
oh god, of course.
Everyone got super pissed.
Yeah.
We got,
no shit.
Yeah. That sucks.
That's probably the worst pick you could have made, Gazlo, on a 2-lane map.
But
didn't do anything.
But what I will say is that Gazlo probably lost the most points, though, hopefully, because of that bullshit that he did.
Maybe. But what I was happy with is that everyone kind of played to the end and didn't get that pissy, I guess. I mean, they were pissed in the beginning, but none of them just stopped playing. They all kind of at least tried as much as they could, but there was no peels when anyone dove in.
Yeah.
Greymane would just go in, or Genji would just go in, and there's no peels at all. Maybe a shield. It was really bad. It was really bad.
One stun. That's
You know,
bad.
Yeah.
what I never understand is that when I used to play Hero League at the lower levels, like in silver, right? That why would someone do that? Like I don't understand it. Like
Trolling.
He probably like thinking I was a really good Gazlo, so I pick where I'm best at. I mean, he did
But he
say he
said
would go a
yes.
second tank. He
Yeah,
said
he
would.
did
Yeah,
say he said that he would go
second.
tank and then he doesn't. Like why would
Yeah, he
like,
didn't. That
why
was a big time douche move.
like
I
no,
think it was
seriously like
he was going like, well, I didn't expect their draft to be like it was, and I'm going Gazlo or something. He had something like that. It's like,
Well, you
oh,
go Gazlo tank. You pick up the Rolo Goblin and you have 30 armor, obviously. And you
Yeah.
tank
But-
for 3 seconds every like 12 seconds or whatever.
the thing is that you have to know
Yeah.
that Zarya is not a good primary tank, right? I mean,
yeah. She
but-
asked the beginning of the game because she picked, I think, second position.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going Zarya, but can we get a second tank?
yeah, that's
were
the
like,
thing
yeah.
where because this team comp with a ETC or Tyrael or
Yeah.
Nubra is really good against this team comp, and like
Mhm.
I just don't understand why because when I watch Bacon's stream, none of that ever happens. Like last
I mean,
year,
and-
none of that ever happens. None of that
I mean,
none of
even-
this trolling shit happens.
Well, he's not
Uh,
playing at silver level. The people at Bacon's level have a much greater analysis of, what works and how to draft and whatnot.
Yeah, but
and
actually, this is a guy that lying, saying that he will play a tank and then not do it. That's the
then
thing. It's not-
what he said is, I saw a better opportunity as Gazlo based on their comp. That's what he said.
Yeah,
Oh,
see,
no,
that's
no,
just
he's not
that's
ignoring
terrible
it.
analysis.
He's
That's
not
what- he wasn't
ignoring.
trying to
He's
be a
just
dick.
dumb.
He's just dumb.
It was like
Yeah,
that.
see,
and
that's
then
what I'm saying. They bad analysis.
and he was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be able to push this lane or something, and then all this other crap that never happened. And what happened is during the game, Zarya died like 9 times. Everyone was like, we lost because of Zarya. Like Zarya
Oh,
fucked this up for us.
No.
You know what
And
I
I
would
was like,
do?
no, it's like, did you guys see that last pick Gazlo that did nothing for our team?
Like, yeah, you know what I would
So,
do?
that's what happened. Everyone was flaming Zarya by the end of it because she died so often. But
That's not her
she's
fault.
the only front line of whatever front
Yeah.
line they have.
Yeah,
So
she tried
yeah.
to tank.
Like if I was the Uther, I would try to play it legit. But then, like in the last half of the game, if I knew it was going to be over, I would not heal Gazlo, so the Gazlo would die all the time, and save everyone else because
Uther effed up
Oh,
too. He
see.
went Divine Storm. He didn't go
Oh,
Divine
God.
Shield.
Uh,
Ugh.
well, you're
Anyway.
also divine shielding like a silver level, gold level Vala, or he's
Well,
not
the,
gonna-
I was
Yeah.
the Vala, by the way. So
yeah.
Yeah, I still have a level of Vala.
my point stands.
Yeah.
oh, you son of a gun.
If you could get Genji and Greymane in a Divine Storm, that's not necessarily a bad thing compared to
Yeah.
Divine Shield.
But
Well,
that's also
considering we had no
a level
stunts,
of coordination
that's what it
of this guy's stunned. Let's blow him up. I mean, that doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Uther, I'm just going to do the other ultimate on the Malthael and just win that way, or try to win that way, But
Yeah.
well, that sucks. I'm
Uh,
sorry. I'm sorry to hear that.
First
Alright,
row of
right.
the game. Yep.
Yeah, that sucks.
Oh, hey, Fringe. You mentioned something about but do you know that the personal matchmaking system is actually off right now?
Oh, what does that mean?
Oh.
So when they did the first reset,
Wow.
right? Saying
Yeah.
they not fixed it. They did the second reset, right? And
Yeah.
then they turned off everything. So right now, Hero League is as if it was exactly like last season.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go.
Wow.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
when they,
I wonder
when they
that wasn't mentioned earlier. Fringe didn't know.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
well, it seemed like it's kind of went by under the radar.
Yeah, well, if you were playing Friday, you noticed because they shut down the entire game for maintenance like Friday night,
yeah.
and they released a statement about it saying that they reverted the matchmaking changes because they still had bugs in it.
All right. So last thing I want to mention very briefly, I forgot to mention this like the last 3 shows, but so this is non-HOTS related. So if you don't want to listen, you can turn off your thing right now. But anyway, I wanted to make a special mention of this movie I saw. Actually, the song you heard in the intro is a song from the soundtrack of the film, but it's a
Star
movie-
Wars.
No, it is not Star Wars.
It's a little
I think
indie
that-
film by a company called Disney called Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Wink, wink,
You know, it's
hint,
funny though.
hint.
I actually have the director of that movie, Rian Johnson. I have a poster of his first film, Brick,
I know, Brick. Yes.
on my wall here. So, anyway, I think I'm learning. I'm a pretty good scout for talent. But anyway, that's another story in itself.
Oh my God.
As someone who almost became a real life scout. Anyway, that's another story. But anyway,
So many stories.
I do have a lot of stories. So there's a movie called A Bad Idea Gone Wrong, and the film is it's a first-time writer director, and there's a lot of flaws with the film, but it's definitely worth watching. It's not nearly a perfect movie, but there's enough there where that I can see how this guy could, at least from a writing perspective, there's a lot of good stuff in there, but there's some bad stuff. But for the most part, it's a good thing. But the special mention is the actress Eleanor Pineda, I guess is her name, and she was really good in it. And she reminded me of a very young Rose Byrne in the movie Two Hands. For those of you who know Australian cinema, but she reminds me of a very young Rose Byrne, and I think that maybe in 10 years she could be like a big thing, because I think there's a lot there with her. So that's all. So A Bad Idea Gone Wrong, and the song, the intro, is from Alex Cuervo, who did the soundtrack for the movie. So please check out the song as well as the movie, and that's it. All right, so let's go to. Also, our outro is from Armchair Martian. But anyway, let's go to. The name of the song is called Darth.
Jesus Christ.
Gee, let him say
Finish
his
when you
outro.
finish, bro.
It's the name of the song is called Darth Vader. So I thought that was kind of funny because of the Star Wars thing. But anyway, so there you go. Let's go to Tower Baron.
Oh, by the way, I'm
Sam-
streaming. I'm streaming a lot more lately. Twitch.tv/BaconHots. Watch Myths in the Nexus. Watch Star Wars indie film.
I like how
it
Bacon
needs to help.
was giving me shit about this, and then he does what he just gave me shit about. Like,
Both offenders.
so go. All right, let's go to Tower Baron. Oh, also, sorry. Thank you for everyone who's been watching in Twitch. We all really appreciate it. All right, now let's go to Tower Baron.
We read every comment.
We appreciate all the comments.
I'm just gonna.
that
Yeah.
you make. So it's we don't have time sometimes to read them all out as we do the show, but to everyone who has been giving feedback during the show, we appreciate that too. Let's go to Tower Baron.
So if we don't type out back to you,
All right, okay, now it's not even. You're just fucking around.
Yeah.
This is already a 2 hours plus episode. We got the.
yeah. Holy
Let's
shit.
go.
We've done enough rambling on this episode. All right.
Let's go to Tower Baron.
So from Santa Tower Baron and the rest of the Gankbush squad, that's our show, and we'll see you in the Nexus.
Boom.
Yeah, everyone blow ASAP. Now go.
Last one was so much better.
That's the outro. We're good.
the miss on the stage.